Hello and good morning. My name is Charlie Belfontaine, and I own Chicagoland Home Inspectors. And I'm also affiliated with this Get Sync program that's up here. And we're going to try and do a bunch of series of marketing items. Everything is about getting more business, and everything is about driving the price up. And, just some real simple common sense stuff here that we know that if supply and demand exist there, so in other words, if I have more people demanding my services, that allows me to go ahead and increase my prices. All right. So a lot of people really ignore the leads that exist out there, or they don't know how to handle the leads. And what I'm going to try and do is figure out different ways or show different ways that we capture leads, what type of leads, and either how we convert them to paying customers or how we nurture them into building relationships with us. So relationships are going to be for real estate brokers, um, convincing or explaining to a client why they need to choose us over everyone else. That's going to be for direct to consumer. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start flipping through some of these slides. And the first one is going to be a little bit of a pain point, right? People come back here and I see this consistently. Everybody hates Yelp. They felt that they've been robbed by them before. So I actually grabbed a bunch of these comments um, from a Facebook post. This poor person here, Vincent Jackson, he put up there, anybody getting business from Yelp, they keep calling me for the last 3 days to get me started. And I'll confess, it's annoying. I don't want to be called at the whole time. But other people just keep coming in here and they say lead generation companies, forget about them. There's no shortcuts. I agree with the no shortcuts, but I don't agree with forgetting about any sort of lead generation. All right. The whole idea is to figure out how to make them work for you. All right. And I get it. A lot of people did these things, they did them wrong, and they've been punished in the past and they don't know why. And I have been too. All right. And while I'm popping these things up here, I'll share a little story with you on how we got punished by Yelp. All right. I didn't realize that it would be against Yelp's rules to pay or give a discount for somebody to leave a review. I get it. It's kind of unethical, that I'm going to go out there. Okay, I did a home inspection for you. I send you a letter. Hey, if you leave a positive review, I'll give you $50. I could see that as being unethical. I could buy into that. All right. But the way I did it was I would give somebody a $50 discount just for a promise that they would, judge us when everything's done. We don't want to influence it. We don't want to buy a positive review. We didn't want to do any of that stuff. Well, that turned out it was against Yelp's rules, right? And in doing so, they ended up deleting a bunch of the reviews. They actually made my ads more expensive. You got to follow their rules, and you actually have to read, the rules to be able to comply. Another thing I see people do wrong is they go ahead and put a link for their clients to conveniently leave a review. And that's another mistake. It's another thing that Yelp doesn't allow for. Now, I found a little workaround because once you read the rules and you follow the rules, all right, I could still plant the seed. And that was my intent. I want to let the clients know that I am so confident in our people. I'm so confident in our process and our reports that I'm willing to plant the seed and tell you that we want to be judged. We want to be reviewed when everything's said and done. Believe it or not, that holds weight. And it's a BS discount. We raised our prices up by $50 just so I could lower them by $50. It's that simple. And I don't care if somebody takes the discount or not. We're giving it to them. We don't want to raise the price up that much. All we want to do is plant the seed that we want them to do it. So I'm going to switch over now as to who is the client in this situation. All right. And we're going to focus on the Yelp users. And this is probably one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of home inspectors make. And the biggest thing when I look at websites, everybody is writing on there, why is a home inspection important? Why should you get a home inspection? What is the value of a home inspection? Well, if you really think about it, if there's somebody who, let's look at their situation. They've already executed a contract, right? So they chose the house, they decided to buy the house, they completed the contract to buy the house, and the seller went ahead and they executed the contract. So if somebody's looking for a home inspector, they don't need to be educated as to why they want to have a home inspector. They already got that answer. So now what do they really want is who's the best value for me? All right. Now I hear a lot of people say, oh, they're looking for the cheapest price. And I'm going to disagree with that. I think they're really looking for the best value. And we do try to run up the fees. All right. But we do it in a manner kind of the same way that McDonald's does it or Burger King does it. And I'll be honest with you, it kind of drives me nuts, but it works. All right. If you've ever gone through the drive-through and you just want to get a burger, the next thing you know is people are going, you want fries with that, you want a Coke with that, you want so they're upselling you. They don't really make that much money or profit on the actual, well, we'll call it a home inspection in this way. The bigger profits are made on the ancillary services. All right. So if you're going to go ahead and get the home inspection and you can also get ancillary services because they're going to want to hire these things anyway, then do it, and that should be all part of it. And that's what we've been finding out with most Yelp users. Usually they've been burned in the past. And this is a common feedback that I've been getting from them. They bought a house once before, or maybe they just read something online, and they're afraid that their home inspector might have a relationship with the real estate broker, and then they're going to have a little bit of fear and saying that, well, the home inspector now just wants the deal to go through and they're going to kind of keep things away from me. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I really don't know. And I don't want to fan that because I don't like fanning, dishonesty when it comes to stuff. But they feel it, so understand that. And if we can go ahead and explain to somebody why we're good and what gives us value, and it's got to be with teeth. I see a lot of other people put on there that, I'm going to treat your home like it's mine, or I'm going to, I'm a detail oriented person and I want to do all this stuff. How do you prove that? And that's the idea is what you got to figure out. If you're going to make a statement like that, you got to have something to be able to prove that it's true. And for example, if you're going to be touting the tools that you use, well, then put a list of the tools that are going to be up there. That's not a objective type thing. It's a kind of a yes or no, yin yang type thing. You're going to use these tools. Another thing that we try to do is only do one inspection a day. That was another pain point that I got from our clients. They don't want to be rushed. They come in and the inspector comes in and out in less than an hour, and they feel that they kind of got ripped off. So we try to make a longer list, and everything is focused on the buyer. We're not focused on the real estate broker at all when we're looking for the leads. All right. The next thing I'm going to switch up to is what's on the screen right now. This is the number one key if you're going to be doing anything when you're dealing with leads. All right. And I have not figured out Angie's List yet. All right. So I don't have all the answers. I have tried it a few different times, but it just turned out to be too expensive for me to try to figure it out. So I didn't do it. And a little bit more history with Yelp. When I first started, I was skeptical, just like everybody else. I went with the smallest amount of advertising on there, and it failed. And then I tried it again, and I kept switching things up. Then all of a sudden, I started getting business from it. And everything started working. and I figured out what it is that people were looking for and how I can go ahead and get those answers to them. And then I started, enjoying the amount of revenue that was coming in from Yelp. It was just crazy. We actually started kicking our advertising all the way up to $3,000 a month, and it was worth every penny. We were pulling in over 600 just from Yelp, and I'm talking about 600,000 a year, on $36,000, for a year of investment. That's not a bad return on investment. All right. So, and we always pay for advertising one way or another, whether you're going to go out and build relationships with real estate brokers, you got to get your butt in the car, get out there, shake the hands, do whatever. All that costs money, and there's dollars to it. In this situation, I like the paying for the leads because I could just dial that up and down. So, number one, speed to lead. That means you got to be prepared. All right. You got to figure out what does your potential client want, and how am I going to get that information to them in a super fast way. So before I started building in the automation system, I did everything manually. All right. So Yelp has an app on there, and I think that actually might show up a little bit. So Yelp has an app that comes on there. So I have it on my phone all the time. I'll get a text, I'll get an email, and then I'll get an alert on the app. I would have my response crafted, and I'm an iPhone user, so it would be in our notes section. I don't know what Droid has, that you could store these things. And all the common questions that come in afterwards, because I still get people that ask me, this person charges that. Can you match their prices? We wrote out all those responses already so that I don't have to try and reinvent them over and over again. And I tweak them. And sometimes they do better and sometimes they do worse, right? So in these situations, I would like following our lowest range, 5 and a 20. The sewer scope is 350. So now we got all these comments and everything else where they're automated. So as soon as it comes in there, we wait a little bit on there with our automation. We have a pre-written email that gets replied, to these leads. And it doesn't matter what time of the day. And I think that was one of my biggest annoyances with Yelp, because I knew the value of responding as fast as possible. And our goal is to be under that 5 minute mark. The lowest they give you is 10 minutes, right? And I think I saw that. I got to go back one. Yeah, if you look up here in the upper right corner, response time 10 minutes, response rate 100%. All right. And that's huge, especially when you get to what they call Yelpers or Yelp elites. These are people that are really into this stuff, and they really do value how Yelp, works all those reviews. All right. So I'm going to go down the list here. These are just a few of the pages and how it works, and, what the chatting looks like and so forth. So this person was the latest one, when I started doing screenshots on here. And even though it's cut off, and I'll show you the whole response, the first green in the center is our response. And then, he didn't want to read it. I'm like, all right, if somebody's not going to read my text, I'll be honest with you, I really don't want to push it for them to be my client. They're not going to be a good client. And I like to be in a position where I get the phone ringing enough times that I don't have to worry about losing that person as a client. All right. But nonetheless, I thought I'd still be polite. All right, I'll look up the address. It's a, bread and butter bungalow. So that falls under our first stage. And then they wanted a sewer scope. So that was 350 on there. So I just typed it up, and here's the schedule. Let's go ahead and do it. Now I'm not sure if we got this client or not. I would have to look it up, but nonetheless, we keep our calendar full. And that's the big audacious goal when you're dealing with any of these lead generation stuff. And this is what's nice about them, because we do it with this and local Google ads. I don't need to have my, calendar booked out 2 weeks in advance. I only need to be booked out 3 to 5 days in advance. And I could turn my marketing up and I could dial it down. in order to maintain that area. So when the market does get a little bit slow, I kick up our advertising dollars. When the market gets super busy, we actually turn them down a little bit so that, the amount of inspectors we have, we just want to keep everybody full. Now, the ads that we're seeing here, and I think we're paying like three, maybe 400 is what we're paying per month on our ads. It used to be over 3,000. We lowered them down because we also do Google ads and those were a lot cheaper. So we went with that instead. Hey, Mike, looky here. So and Mike's on the call here listening with us. This is his business right there. And this is why I consider him one of our biggest competitors here. He's showing 5 stars solid up there. He's got 482 reviews. And I think that's actually the most that we have in the area. All right. And then you look at the other ones here, and that's the other thing that people don't like about Yelp is you got to realize that if you make your client angry, they're going to leave a negative review. So figuring out what they want, delivering what they want, giving them more than what they're expecting, that I can't encourage you enough. All right. And then when it comes to the reviews, that's the other thing is you got to get that process built into your system in order to convince your client to leave a review. And we do ours on a 3-step automation process. And you might be able to throw in a 4th step in there. I already mentioned to you about planting the seed. All right. So that photo that you see by Hugo R on there, that is part of that planting the seed. We want our clients to take a photo of our inspectors doing what they do and post that photo up there. All right. And so we plant the seed before they even hire us. We let them know that, hey, we're confident, we know what we're doing, or we're proud of what we're doing. And we want you to know that we're open to a judgment when everything's done. But think about how risky that is. And I also explain this to my client. We are all human beings, and the number one motivator that we have as a human being is anger. All right. You really want to get a human being to take physical action or do something, piss them off. All right. You get somebody upset, you tell them what their problem is, or they feel that they've been scorned, they're going to do something. They're going to take action. All right. But yet, if you go out of your way and they could help somebody, that's a lot harder to go ahead and get someone to leave a positive review than it is a negative review. It's easy to do the negative. So you got to make sure that you're there for your client and that they feel that you're there for them. So one of the extras that we added on, because this business is a competition, right? One of the things that I did about 2 years ago, and it's been going over very well, and it keeps me in the loop of stuff, and I'm going to actually start outsourcing this stuff too, is I do a Zoom call with all of our clients after the inspection's completed, after they get the report. That's where I could go over stuff with them. I can go ahead and show them on free cost estimating calculators out there. I could go ahead and show them the cost of repairs when it comes to fixing some of these items. So we can give them a rough idea. We keep a list of networks, so contractors, handymen, plumbers, electricians, and so forth. We keep all that up on our website so that we can share that with our clients as well. All right. And this is stuff that they want. Somebody buying a house, let's face it, we're going to walk in there, we're going to give them a list of problems, and then we throw the report at them and we run away. And I get it. I spoke in a little inflammatory method. I'm sure we're all very proud of what we do. But most of the time, we stop right there after the report's delivered. And we just say, well, you should read it. Read the whole thing, and make sure you understand it. You're going to be surprised if you ever do this follow-up thing with a client on how many people don't understand your report. You understand it, but they don't. All right. And when I go over these things and I have a deeper conversation and I start listening to our clients and try to figure out, okay, what do you understand? This means they're usually way off. Then I could go ahead and get that all explained to them. Now, when I finish that Zoom call, I'm going to ask them again, for a review. And we also structured our business so that we give our guys a financial bonus every time a client leaves a review form. All right. And it's more of just another way to, you know, get pay them more and make them happier working here. So I tell our clients this, it's a great way to give our inspectors a tip, and you don't even have to spend any more money. I hope you feel that they went out of their way for you. I hope you feel that I did this way, and it really does help our business. And that's it. I don't really dwell on it. I don't try to make them commit. I just want to let them know, if you think this person did something good for you and you want to do something good for them, I get it, your time is valuable, but at least I'm not asking for more money. All right. Tip them with our money that comes in there. And that also works. All right. And then we're going to follow it up with our emails and so forth. All right. When it comes to Yelp too, something else I would encourage you, take advantage of some of these, upgrades. And the more you invest in the leads, they actually give a lot of these to you for free. All right. But I don't know the exact amount that you have to pay for these leads. I lowered mine so much that I don't have an advisor anymore. When I was at the $3,000 mark, I had a phone number. I had somebody's cell phone number that I was able to call. And I said, okay, let's do this. And every time I needed to make a change, I had to go through them. But I had a human being to do that. When you're at the lower advertising amounts where I'm at now, you don't have that luxury. Everything's done online and you got to take care of it yourself. But it really isn't that hard. So I don't want to make it, too much of a problem. All right. So responding to leads and getting somebody to motivate them in a way, to come and work with you. All right. And let's be realistic. If you're watching this video right now, I did this to you. All right. I told you what a problem that existed on there. You're probably like, yeah, I'm not busy enough. I want to get more business. Or maybe, well, and it doesn't matter how busy you are. All right. If you want more, you're going to look at different levels or different ideas on how you could bring more inspections inside. And there is no one superhero thing that's going to make everybody rich. You need to diversify, and you need to figure out, where do all these clients come from, and work with each and every one of these items, right? So I would like to introduce you to PAS, pain, aggravate, and solution. All right. So if you're going to market direct to consumer, we need to find out what are their pain points. And I'll let you in on a secret. That's for the real estate agents too. All right. What are their pain points if you're going to market and build relationships with those people? And then the second thing is, all right, let's recognize it. Let's agitate it a little bit. All right. So here is me agitating that stuff. And again, everything should always come back to, why choose me? Not why a home inspection is important, not why get a service. It's why me, why my company, and why you want to work with us. Your whole first page of your website should be focused on these three words. Every communication to a home buying client should be focused on these three words. And and another one is going to be, and I'll get into capturing real estate agents and building relationships with them another time. But that phrase should be more, why do you want to know me? Why do you want to work with me? Why do you want to partner with me? Why should we build a relationship together? But this one is going to be focused on the buyer, and they don't have the luxury of time. That's another thing you got to remember. Here, and things I get it are different in different parts of the country. But here in Chicago, we have roughly a 5 business day window from the time that a contract is fully executed to the time that they have to choose the home inspector, hire the home inspector, get the home inspection done, report delivered, and start the negotiation process with their attorney. 5 business days, that's it. So in all reality, you got less than 24 hours if you're going to go look on your own to find somebody and choose somebody. They don't have time to build a relationship with me. They got to make a decision. So if I want to be in charge of everything, quite frankly, I don't want to talk to any of these people, because when we have verbal conversations with people, things get dropped off. I don't remember everything that needs to be said. I didn't say everything, but when I put it in writing, I get 100% of my message in front of the client. Now, I can't force them to read. This is the horse and water and drink and all that stuff. I can't get them to read it. But if they're really interested in choosing a home inspector and which one to choose, man, I want to have all of my reasons right in front of them so that I can make it where everybody else has to keep up with me instead of me trying to keep up with them. All right. So the first thing that gets sent to anybody who asks for a request: thank you for researching home inspectors. Choosing the right inspector is an important part of the home buying process. Why it matters: some inspectors limit findings to avoid upsetting real estate agents. This can leave the buyer unaware of costly issues. Rushed inspections can miss critical problems that could lead to unexpected repairs. Think about this when you see multiple appointments for the same inspector. All right. I'm stirring the pot. There's no ifs, ands about it. If somebody's looking on Yelp or even Google local ads, they're not going with the real estate agent referral. All right. Why? And that's what we want to focus on. Why are they not going with the real estate referral? All right. Then I get into a little, who am I? All right. And I kind of want to, even though everything should always be focused about the client, all right, you always want to make the client be the hero. And this is another important thing when you're focusing on direct to consumer marketing. It's not about how great you are. It's about your solutions to their problems and how you're going to fix their problems, how you are going to make them the hero. All right. One of the things that they're always looking for is experience. All right. So I'm lucky enough. I've been in this business for a few years. I can go ahead and say what year I started, and I don't agree with a lot of those things. I do believe in clear, thorough, unbiased, but I want to keep it short and sweet. All right. Now the why choose us. I'm going right into work on this stuff. All right. Put out the list of what it's going to be there. And we don't want to just say technical tools, thorough inspection, detailed reports, follow up. We want to break it down and let people know, hey, this isn't BS. This is actually legit. Right. So all the special tools, or at least the expensive ones that you're going to use, list them out there. We kept it short and sweet because I don't want this to be a big, long message inside of Yelp. But on our webpage, when we direct them to there, it is all listed out. We do want to have every single bit of ammunition that we can have to go ahead and win the fight. And let's face it, it is a fight. We are competing with each other. I'm glad that we can support, get to know each other and trust each other and stuff like that. And there's really not a lot of backstabbing in our profession that comes in here, but we are still competitors. All right. And I'm not a believer in putting other people down, but I am a believer in putting myself up. So when I start seeing somebody equaling to the services that we're providing, I'm going to keep adding stuff. And I'm going to keep wanting to add more services, more things to it to put more value to everything. All right. So that's the second step, is the why choose us. And I give them the list. Reviews are a big deal. All right. So I want to show people where they could find, the different reviews. And I will tell you right now, do not put out a link to Yelp reviews. That's the worst thing that you can ever do when it comes to marketing on Yelp, because they track all that stuff and they see that it keeps coming from a certain email. Even though you're telling them to read the reviews and not post a review, all that stuff comes in there that you're directing them to leave a review. So when we tell people to go to Yelp and leave a review, we tell them to do a search for us on Yelp. This is the name of our business. All right. So free resources. This is, the next step into what makes us better. All right. So, and this is another thing that we're putting together. I mentioned earlier about my pain point. My pain point in marketing direct to consumer is that window of opportunity is only one day. In fact, it's really only a few hours. All right. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I open that window up wider and that. So we're starting to build another community where I have a bunch of our contractors, our inspectors, people that do the radio show with me, the mortgage guy, the real estate broker, our real estate attorney. And we're starting to put together, and part of this system has this built into it, and our clients would get a free app out of it as well. But while they're searching for a home, if they start seeing cracks in the foundation, well, let's address those. Most of us can go ahead and identify the serious cracks from the not so serious cracks. When we're doing our inspection, we could probably do it from a photo as well. And if we don't know, we don't know. Or if the photo's not clear enough, it's not clear enough. But if you can give them a way to start building trust with you ahead of time, that's another avenue. All right. And again, I'm going to do another class on that. We did create an artificial intelligence that we use all of our code books. And then I wrote another little lead magnet, negotiating after the home inspection. All right. I want to get all my prices out there as well. All right. I want to give everybody links that, get them on sites so they can go ahead and place that order. I want to get them all the add-on services. I don't want there to be any unpleasant surprises. All right. Again, if you're going to make a decision on who you're going to choose, I want to make sure you have all of our information in front of you so that I don't have to try and pick and choose what's going on there. All right. So, and here comes the sales pitch. So if you don't want to have it, now's the time to sign off. But that QR code, and the next few slides are going to show this up. That next QR code is going to be to get a tour of the entire back end of the system. All right. And we're building some of these websites, and I get it. Everybody has a different budgets, right? Some of these things are going to be free. And, we're going to give anybody who wants a website and they want to take these classes that we're putting together. I'm more than happy. We'll do it for a one-time setup fee. There are some stipulations involved, and I'll explain that. But otherwise, as we go on, what was this one here? Once it's set up, it's easy, keeps working. All right. And this is where the automation is. I don't have to hire a virtual assistant or have somebody answering the phones. All right. I have all that stuff automated. I don't have to worry about their salary, their insurance, their nothing with it. It just keeps working 24/7. All right. I can edit, change my message. I know exactly what's going to be said, and I don't have to worry about anybody else swinging from the hips when it comes to that. Whenever we do advertise, one of the other problems with Google Ads and Yelp is they want to help get more people call you or more people ask you for a quote. You don't want that. All right. It's not a numbers game. It's a quality game. All right. So I don't really want the person who has questions about their roof. I don't want to do a roof inspection. I want to do a full home inspection. So I focus only our leads on very tight what it is that I want. So again, our goal is not to get more leads, but to get more quality leads that people are going to buy our full service. All right. If this is something that you're interested in or you want to know more, then please scan that QR code. That's going to bring you to another calendar. It'll be a one-on-one stuff. I'll give you a tour. You can also go to https:// and I think it's getsync.pro, and that explains all the different pricing options and everything else. And we're going to be adjusting and changing those prices. All right. So that's it for this. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. I did see somebody threw a message up there. I apologize. I don't see the PowerPoint you are showing how to. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. And